All right, 2026-27 batch, welcome in. Sit up straight, clear off those desks, and give me your absolute focus. You're here because you don't just want to scrape by. You want to literally dominate your upcoming board exams. I'm your academic mentor from ICSE MasterClass, and this is an explainer designed specifically for you. Today, we are completely cracking the Union Parliament. And look, this isn't just some casual read-through of your textbook. No way. This is a definitive, high-yield analysis designed to train you exactly on how the ICSE Council tests this material. We're going to build your conceptual clarity piece by piece, so by the end of this session, you'll be armed and ready to tackle even the absolute trickiest board questions.
Here's our board breaker blueprint for today. Think of this as your syllabus for the next few minutes. We'll start with the overall testing blueprint, throw the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha into a head-to-head battle, and then map out the essential procedures you need to know. After that, we'll unpack the drama of motions and defection, weaponize your knowledge with high-yield powers, and finally, unlock some serious board exam secrets.
Section 1, the Union Parliament Blueprint. Let's dive right into it.
But wait, before we go any further, I've got my first strict instruction for all you serious candidates. Hit that subscribe button on the @ICSE MasterClass 10 YouTube channel right now. We are building the ultimate arsenal for your 2026-27 boards, and honestly, you can't afford to miss a single upload. Now listen closely. Just memorizing the textbook? Yeah, that's not going to cut it anymore. The Council doesn't just test if you can parrot back facts. They test your application. They love setting these 4-mark traps and competency-based questions. To beat them at their own game, you absolutely need to join our Telegram channel at t.me/ICC_class10_WPIV. We drop exclusive, free PDF notes in there that line up perfectly with the official marking schemes.
Okay, moving on to our first major battleground, Lok Sabha versus Rajya Sabha.
We're doing a direct side-by-side comparison here to visually train your brain for those classic differentiate between questions. You've got to anchor these exact numbers in your mind to avoid those silly amateur mistakes on your answer sheet. So for the Lok Sabha, the House of the People, the minimum qualifying age is 25. For the Rajya Sabha, the Council of States, you've got to be at least 30. Max strength, 550 for the Lok Sabha, 250 for the Rajya Sabha. And the term? Oh man, this is where students always trip up. The Lok Sabha has a 5-year term, and it can actually be dissolved earlier. But the Rajya Sabha? It's a permanent house. It literally cannot be dissolved by the president. Instead, 1/3 of its members retire every 2 years, which gives individual members a 6-year term. Lock those numbers down, guys.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how the election process works. See, unlike the Lok Sabha, where members are directly elected by universal adult franchise, meaning regular folks like you and me vote for them, Rajya Sabha members are elected indirectly. They're chosen by the elected members of the state legislative assemblies. And it's definitely not an equal slice of the pie for every state. Seats are handed out strictly based on population size. So a massive state like Uttar Pradesh sends 31 members to the Rajya Sabha, while a smaller state like Sikkim sends just a single, lonely representative. It's totally a game of demographics.
Let's move to Section 3, Essential Parliamentary Procedures. Now that we know who sits in the Parliament, let's shift focus to the daily rules of engagement.
Okay, I want you to drill this massive number drop right into your memory. 1/10. 1/10 is the absolute minimum quorum required to conduct any business in either House of Parliament. Basically, if the Lok Sabha has 550 members, the quorum is 55. If there are fewer than 55 members sitting in that room, the presiding officer, the speaker, literally has to suspend the meeting or adjourn the House until they get a quorum. No 1/10, no Parliament, period. Let's walk chronologically through a daily parliamentary session. The day kicks off at 11 a.m. sharp with the highly structured question hour. This is the very first hour of every sitting, and it's when members have the right to fire questions at the government. But you can't just blurt them out. You need to give notice, usually around 14 days. Then, right after that, at 12 noon, we jump straight into the 0 hour. Now this is the heated, spontaneous part of the day. No prior notice is required here, and members can just bring up matters of urgent public importance right on the spot.
Going back to question hour for a second, there's actually an official flowchart for the types of questions you can ask. A starred question is literally marked with an asterisk, and it means the member wants an oral answer right there on the floor. And because it's oral, they can follow up with supplementary questions. An unstarred question, on the other hand, requires a written answer. That means no supplementary questions allowed. Finally, we've got short notice questions. These can be asked with less than 10 days notice, but only for exceptionally urgent matters.
All right, on to Section 4, Critical Motions and Defection.
We are pivoting into some high-stakes procedural drama now, and let me remind you, these exact concepts frequently show up in official ICSE marking schemes, so stay with me. Here's a critical board statistic: exactly 50 members. That is the minimum support required to even move a no-confidence motion. And here's the golden rule you must, absolutely must, write in your exam. A no-confidence motion can exclusively be introduced in the Lok Sabha. If the opposition manages to rally those 50 members and the motion actually passes, the entire Council of Ministers, the whole government, has to resign immediately. It's basically the ultimate weapon of accountability.
Next up is the Anti-Defection Law. This was brought in by the 52nd Amendment and added to the 10th schedule to put an end to this chaotic practice of floor crossing or horse trading, which is basically politicians jumping ship to another party just to get a better deal. Strictly defined, this law disqualifies members of parliament who voluntarily give up their party membership, switch to another party, or vote against the specific directives, which is called a whip, of their own party. And, keep this in mind, if there's ever a dispute about defection, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha holds the final absolute power of decision.
But wait, let's look at how this builds into the ultimate trap concept that examiners absolutely love to throw at you. What if a massive chunk of the party decides to leave all at once? Well, there's an exception rule. It states that if 2/3 of a party's members agree to merge with another party or split off together, it doesn't actually count as defection. They are completely protected from disqualification. So if you're taking your exam and you see a competency question about a group of MPs switching sides without losing their seats, boom, you immediately apply that 2/3 majority split rule.
Section 5. High-Yield Parliamentary Powers. Let's get into the heavy artillery.
When it comes to legislative powers, the official textbooks make it crystal clear. The Lok Sabha has exclusive financial dominance. A money bill can only, and I mean literally only, originate in the Lok Sabha. It has to be officially certified as a money bill by the Speaker, and it even requires the President's recommendation before it can be introduced. The Rajya Sabha, they are virtually powerless here. They cannot amend it, they cannot reject it. The absolute most they can do is delay it for a maximum of 14 days.
But hey, do not underestimate the upper house. I'm going to give you the Rajya Sabha's exclusive powers verbatim from the marking scheme right now, so you know exactly what to write. Number 1. Under Article 249, the Rajya Sabha can declare a subject on the state list as a matter of national importance. This allows the Union Parliament to step in and make laws on it. Number 2, they possess the exclusive power to authorize the creation of new all-India services that are common to both the Union and the states. Write those 2 points down perfectly and you've secured your marks for sure.
So how exactly does the legislature keep the executive in check? This constitutional relationship is absolutely vital for your 2026-27 boards. They hold him accountable through the right of interpellation, which is just a fancy way of saying they have the formal right to ask questions during question hour. They do it by passing a no-confidence motion to potentially dissolve the entire government. They can move an adjournment motion to pause normal everyday business and force a discussion on a major national disaster. They can enact monetary cuts by rejecting a money bill or passing a cut motion during the budget session. And don't forget their judicial powers. The Parliament holds the ultimate authority to impeach the President or judges of the Supreme Court if they violate the Constitution.
Finally, Section 6, Board Exam Secrets.
We've covered the blueprint, the core concepts, and the high-yield powers. Now let's wrap up this structured revision with the strategy phase, decoding exactly how these topics actually showed up in recent board papers. If we analyze the 2024 History and Civics paper, you can clearly see how the Council takes these exact concepts and turns them into tricky questions. For instance, they tested quorum by using lack of quorum as the correct multiple-choice reason for why a speaker would adjourn the House when only 50 out of 550 members showed up. They tested the president's discretionary power with a scenario about appointing a prime minister during a hung assembly. And the no-confidence motion, that was directly tested as a heavy 4-mark short answer question. Seriously, guys, if you know the blueprint, the exam becomes completely predictable.
So the ultimate question for you is this. If the Parliament has the power to bring down an entire government with just 50 members, do you have the power to master this blueprint? Are you truly ready to write the absolute perfect board answer? The Council leaves no room for hesitation, and neither should you. Secure your top score today by making sure you're subscribed to ICSE MasterClass 10 on YouTube, and immediately go download the complete, free PDFs from our Telegram channel at t.me/ICSE_class10_WPIV. Your board preparation starts right now. Keep studying hard, and I'll see you in the next explainer.